Hey, good afternoon, Nashville. This is James Grady live with Joseph Clark from OASIS Center, and we're going to be talking about some of the services that OASIS provides to LGBTQIA plus youth, as well as others, and what has been done to extend those services during the pandemic. Thanks for joining us, Joseph.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So can you tell our viewers about OASIS programs and how those were going before the pandemic?
Yeah, so very briefly, because that could be its own segment, OASIS is a youth opportunity center. And so we offer over 20 programs for young people, ranging from youth experiencing homelessness and crisis intervention to college going and workforce development. For LGBTQ youth specifically, we have our Just Us family of programs. And so under that, we have Just Us for high school students, Becoming Us for middle school students. Our youth action and leadership team is our Students of Stonewall team. And we have school-based programming that focuses on people of color who identify within the LGBTQ spectrum. And those are at 4 different high schools. And that program's called Me.
Okay.
And
so all of those programs are ones that you are coordinating or are sort of involved with?
I do Just Us, Becoming Us, and Students of Stonewall. Maxine Spencer is our program specialist who works with the More to Me program.
Okay, great. So those were those all live in-person programs before COVID hit?
They were. They were very live and in-person. Just Us meets every week, every Tuesday after school. Becoming Us was on a bi-weekly schedule, looking to expand in the new school year. And Students of Stonewall, it's a closed internship group, but they met weekly as well. And Maxine was in the high schools based on the high school schedule, meeting weekly with her young people as well.
And at what point did you guys realize that you weren't going to be able to continue providing those services in school? Was school out already before you sort of pivoted to thinking about something new, or had you started planning for that?
So no, it kind of, like most people I'm sure, hit us like a waterfall out of the blue. And we started working remotely pretty early in March. And we actually left the office while school was still in session. And shortly after that, we started looking at ways to engage our young people. So many of them were left high and dry. And for our LGBTQ youth, maybe programs like Just Us and Becoming Us were the only social outlet they have. And so we dove right in to figure out how we could start connecting through a virtual platform and keep our young people engaged.
So what were the first programs that you sort of tried out online, and how did that go initially?
So I tested it out with our Students of Stonewall team. So those are all high school seniors and juniors and very patient with me. And I really picked their brains on what do young people have access to, what would allow for our greatest reach. And they came up with Discord as being kind of the answer across the board, what would work best. And so I spent a lot of time in YouTube videos and just testing all the features of Discord with the Students of Stonewall team on how to create a group, how to make it private, how to make it invitation only, who had access to what features were available. And then we were ready to launch it to Becoming Us with our middle schoolers and Just Us with the high schoolers. And from there, it kind of just exploded and took off.
And Discord's available with a phone app, so probably more of your students have access to that on a regular basis.
Yeah, Discord is free. It was brand new to me. I guess it's pretty big in the gaming community. I don't know anything about that, but it is a free web-based, browser-based, and app-based application that you don't have to even pay for. You just make a screen name with an email address.
So how were you able to, make sure that people who were, I guess by inviting people, you were able to control and make sure the outsiders didn't get to join the programs?
Yeah, so I started kind of with it more closed than not with the high school group and the middle school group for people who were already connected with us, and generated a link that would expire after they signed in. So once they joined our server, that link went away. And then once word got out from them, they had friends or school classmates that needed a space to connect. And so once I started putting it on our social media, I did have young people or their parents connect with me first to grab some enrollment information as kind of another safeguard to make sure this was an actual young person ideally an LGBTQ identified young person, so that it wasn't somebody just coming in to troll people, that it wasn't a creepy adult with access to all these young people.
Right.
And so it is a private group. You cannot find it. The link expires after one use. So after that young person uses it, it's done. So they can't even invite anybody else either.
Right.
It all has to go through me. I know, when parents or teachers or anything hear about this online group for young people, it can raise a lot of concerns.
Mm-hmm.
And so hopefully just by keeping it as closed as possible and putting those safeguards in place with the link that expires, with collecting the enrollment information, that will keep it to young people. And we do have separate servers, one for the high school group and one for the middle school group. So they're not even combined with each other, just based on age appropriateness.
Okay. And are they able to use these groups to communicate with each other on a daily basis, or is it just sort of meeting based?
Yeah, so we have the channels within the server. You can make channels that are somewhat like topic threads, and those are all youth driven on what kind of channel do they want to see in that space. I created the check-in channel, which I moderated. Group is kind of on hiatus right now before summer camp, but I've moderated that daily, Monday through Friday. And that's where we all did our daily check-ins, our highs and lows, just like we would do in in-person group. We shared and combined the group norms and what would create a safe space, taking what we would have done in person and what did we need to include to make people feel safe online. And so those groups, or that channel, was moderated for 90 minutes every morning. And then outside of that, all the other channels were open 24/7 for young people to go through them, connect with each other. I would put in a lot of challenges or just activities or prompts for them to work on. So throughout the day or week or whatever their schedule was like, they would work on that and then pop that information into that channel whenever was convenient. They also had the opportunity, some of them took it and used it for gaming. So a channel was created specifically for that.
Yeah.
I was not part of that. And I was very transparent up front with that I don't know how to use this. And they were really great. And it was a great community for them to be in. And I would scroll through, and they were aware that I could scroll through and see everything that was said and shared. And I would occasionally do that just to make sure nobody was in crisis, nothing that would raise a red flag was happening, people weren't feeling alienated or disconnected, anything like that. And they were super respectful with our norms. They really were great with each other. They were very patient with me. And it was a really enriching, I think, experience for the young people to be in.
Do you have any video meetings? Do they have like a regular session too, or is it mostly just by text?
So Discord has very recently, I think, as they have now probably experienced greater traffic through their platform, they were only text and voice channel to begin with. Now they do have video channel. And so people that felt comfortable being on screen and had the capacity to do so, we video chatted. And for some people, that just was not their jam. They were not interested, really preferred to keep it to text or voice.
Right. So what programs are running through the summer?
So our middle school summer camp is called Just Camp. That was actually the catalyst for the middle school program. So Just Camp is only in its second year. It started last year, and it was a 1-week program. And if we were at Oasis Center in person, it was supposed to be a 2-week program this year. And that's not happening. So I am still in the process of figuring out what is going to be exciting and engaging for middle school young people. But Just Camp will be held virtually on Discord for middle schoolers. And the high schoolers really still wanted a check-in and wanted a place to just share what they were processing, what they were going through. And so I will do a weekly check-in with them once a week on Fridays to just touch base, make sure they feel safe and well, and hopefully enjoying what they can of their summer. They've also requested a book club. So we started a book club during the school year. Super big hit. I sent books with the help of Parnassus across the state. They got their books. They read through them at their pace. When we had that power outage, that really worked in my benefit because they had nothing to do but read the book. So everybody finished it. And they wanted that again for the summer. So they just wanted access to queer media in book form. So they're going to get a new book, and we will read through it and check in and kind of have facilitated discussions around that this summer too for the high schoolers.
That's great. How do people get in touch with you if they are not familiar with your programs and want to kind of join in?
The easiest way is to email me, jclark@oasiscenter.org. We get a ton of messages on our Instagram, which is Just Us Oasis. A lot of direct messages come through that way, or our Facebook page too. Really, it has become one of those things, like if you build it, they will come. And young people are really tech savvy and have no problem finding me and getting connected. And they really want to be connected and want to be part of the group.
Great. So we'll include this in a written article, so if somebody knows somebody that they want to refer, they can get in touch with you. One last question, I think. Have there been any unexpected outcomes of this in terms of availability, attendance, things like that?
Yeah. I'm not an online facilitator at all. Online instruction is not my skill set. So I really thought maybe if we can get 10 young people connected and just have a place to chat, that would be awesome. The high school group ended with 35 young people in it and included people who were not connected to Oasis Center previously. Our reach expanded to young people from across the state. And now that has included for our middle school group, we have a young person connecting with Just Camp who lives in Memphis and who would not have access to a group otherwise. And so this has created a platform for them to be with their peers still. And so when and if there's a time, or hopefully when there's a time when we're back at Oasis in person, we will still maintain the online component because the reach has expanded so greatly. And like I said, has given opportunity to young people who could not make it to an in-person meeting, but now they can still be connected through this.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Joseph, for all that you guys do for the youth in our community. And hopefully somebody will see this and get the young people in touch with you who may not be aware of your programs.
Yeah, sounds great.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Nashville, and have a great evening.